Hey VC, how's it going? Right, 1987, I've just watched Fred's video, 10 great choices, so this is my 10. I'll quickly whiz through these. If you've seen any of my other 80s videos, I'm pretty sure that you would expect me to show this one. This is Prince Sign of the Times. As I said in my 1986 video, I think it's a toss-up between this one and Parade for his best album. I mean, this is a double. Obviously, Sign of the Times, I think is one of the best songs of the 80s, full stop. But stuff like Housequake, Ballad of Dorothy Parker, Starfish and Coffee, You Got the Look, If I Was Your Girlfriend. Yeah, it's just a faultless record, isn't it? You know, so and as a double, there's so much of it, you know. So yeah, wonderful. Right, okay. Moving on. I don't show a great deal of rock music, but yeah, I think this is one of the great debut albums. Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. This is the one with the rather horrible cover on it, which I think was subsequently banned. But yeah, as I say, a great debut. You'll know most of the tracks on this. I think half of it were released as singles. Stuff like obviously Night Train, Welcome to the Jungle, Mr. Brownstone, Paradise City, Sweet Child of Mine, of course. Yeah, I mean, I don't really like what Guns N' Roses became, but I do like this era of Guns N' Roses. It all got a bit pantomime, didn't it, when it got into the 90s, and I think it's still a pantomime now. But yeah, wonderful record. Still sounds really fresh as well. Still sounds as good as it did when it came out. So right, okay. The Pixies, Come On Pilgrim. I think you could probably argue this is a mini album rather than a fully fledged album, but it is it's wonderful all the same. Obviously opens with Caribou, which is I think one of their best tunes. I'm actually seeing the Pixies in a couple of weeks' time. They're playing in Birmingham the week after next, so looking forward to that. But yeah, nice record. Okay, now I showed Love by the Cult. Was that 85 or 86? I think it must have been 85, is it? Yeah. Yeah, this is their follow-up, Electric. Now I think as with most bands, it's where you come in at with that band. You know, this is the first album by the Cult that I heard. Obviously, subsequently went back and picked up Love at the time, but yeah, I love this record. Big chunky rock riffs. I saw them earlier in the year actually, and you know, stuff like Little Devil, Wildflower. I think they opened with Wildflower actually. They certainly closed with Love Removal Machine, which is just epic, isn't it? But yeah. Right, okay, following that, actually goes quite nicely. Billy Duffy out of the Cult was in his teenage years in a band with Morrissey, so why not show the Smiths' Strange Days, Here We Come, their fourth studio album, and I think probably their weakest, but still, you know, despite that, it's still better than most bands' records, you know, but it's, yeah, it is what it is. A really strong opening track, as with all of their albums. Russia Pushing the Land Is Ours, but the singles off this record: I Started Something I Couldn't Finish, Girlfriend in a Coma, Stop Me If You Think You've Heard This One Before, Last Night I Dreamt That Somebody Loved Me. You know, it's the Smiths, isn't it? Great. Right, okay. Got a big pop album from the time, INXS Kick. Another album like with Appetite for Destruction, where I think half of the tracks were released as singles. Not to everybody's taste, you know, incredibly mainstream, but you know, I love this band at the time. I remember seeing them on it was on this tour or the following tour, which was the X album, I'm not sure, but yeah, they all come on stage on skateboards and that sort of stuff. Yeah, it was just, you know, as a teenager it was all incredibly exciting. But yeah, great tunes on this: Need You Tonight, New Sensation, Mystified, Devil Inside, brilliant. Okay. Sisters of Mercy, Floodlands. Yeah, I got into this band years after this came out. I didn't really get into it at the time. Actually, where I work, on my desk at work, I've got a CD player which I sort of commandeered from somewhere in the building, and it's totally fucked. It's knackered. And so much so that it will only play about 3 or 4 CDs. No matter how many CDs I try on it, it will only play these 4 CDs, one of which is the best of the Sisters of Mercy. So I reckon over the course of the last couple of years, I dread to think how many times I've listened to the best of the Sisters of Mercy. You know, certainly I'd probably say every working day for the last 2 years, but there you go. But obviously included in that is Dominion, Mother Russia, this Corrosion, still sound great even 2 years later, having listened to them on a daily basis. There you go. Right, my favourite Jesus and Mary Chain album, Darklands. Again, it's what I was saying about the cult, you know, it's where you came in at. This was the first Jesus and Mary Chain album that I heard, and as I say, it's still my favourite. Stuff like April Skies, Only Happen When It Rains, brilliant. Yeah, lovely record, great bands, totally unique. As soon as you hear a Jesus and Mary Chain album, you know it's them straight away. So yeah, lovely record. Right, two more. I wasn't going to show this, but I am. This is a Style Council, The Cost of Loving. Now I mentioned before that well, I've showed Cafe Blur, and I showed no, I was going to show our favourite shop. I couldn't find my copy at the time, but basically when I showed the Cafe Blur album for 1984, that evening I listened to Cafe Blur, our favourite shop, and this back to back. And if you'd have asked me up front what I thought about this record, I'd have told you that it was pretty poor, pretty average. Some of which, you know, some of which is the case, but it does have some really strong songs on it. So like Fairy Tales, Heaven Above, the singles, Waiting, It Didn't Matter. That really polished blue-eyed soul thing that they had going on at the time. Yeah, it's fantastic. It really works on those tracks. At the time, this is a much maligned album, obviously because of the cover. I think the whole sort of block orange thing was a sort of quirky nod to the White Album. The title of the record, The Cost of Loving, was a nod to the Clash's Cost of Living EP, I believe. But yeah, it is what it is. But there you go, nice gatefold. Yeah, not Weller's finest hour, but still an interesting listen. And finally, CD here. I do have this on vinyl, but I've got on a horrible picture disc which sounds terrible, so I'll show the CD. This is what I actually listen to. Introducing the Hardline Accordion to Terence Trent D'Arby. Once again, not to everybody's taste, but I think you'll have seen from these videos, I really do quite like that polished pop soul sound. Terence Trent D'Arby, I think, was a fascinating artist. I think if we get to 1989, his follow-up to this is a fascinating listen, and I'll probably talk about that a little bit more at the time, but this is just chock full of singles. He had a wonderful voice, you know, very sort of, his voice was a real nod to Sam Cooke, that sort of style. But yeah, I think this album really stands up now. Stuff like If You Let Me Stay, obviously, Wish Him Well, Dance Little Sister. Yeah, obviously Sign Your Name was a big tune, wasn't it? But yeah, lovely album. Still play it a lot now. Don't buy the picture disc of it. Alright, cheers.